This guy.
Hey guys, welcome back to AZ Triumphster. I started working on something that's a fairly simple thing, and every time I've said that, it doesn't end up being a simple thing. Anyways, I thought that trying to get back in the habit of providing you guys content, I might show you what I'm doing and walk you through it as best I can, and see if it benefits you. Now, if you have a Sportster, an Evo Sportster, fuel injected, and you've had it long enough, maybe you've done some service to it, or maybe you've swapped the gas tank, then you know how notorious they are for the fuel line going out. There's an O-ring inside that wears out, erodes over time, and once you disconnect it, it's shot. And you won't know it until you put it all back together and you turn the bike on so the fuel pump kicks on and pressurizes, and at that moment, fuel will start to seep from that connection. The connection I'm talking about is this one right here. It's a slide connector, and the fuel line, mine, which is toast, is the OEM one, the original. So I went ahead and ordered from, I think it's like Parts Giant. Yeah, Parts Giant. An OEM replacement made by Drag Specialties. You know, when you look up insights on, forums and stuff like that for Harley parts, Sportsters especially, you get a mixed sort of feedback and information, varying things, good to bad. The most dealers are going to only be carrying that Drag Specialties or Parts Unlimited, if you will, component. So I'm going to run it, and even if it lasts me 6 months to a year, it was only a $40 part. I'll jump off that bridge when I get to it if it goes out again. So let's get to swapping out this fuel line. So I've got my coil relocation here and a gauge mount coming off of this point. So all I did was remove this mounting point, and I just thread that back in. I try to stay organized so I don't lose anything. So that's hanging out there, and then I only loosen this one so I could swivel the whole assembly out of the way, giving me access to this bolt right here, which I'm gonna just use a 1/4-inch drive, and it is a 5/16. So let me take that off and we'll go from there. Once you get the screw out, this piece just pretty much comes right off like so. Easy peasy. Reusable, but the new fuel line comes with a replacement one of those, as well as hardware and a couple O-rings, which it didn't come with instructions, so we're going to figure out what's what as we go. Now I need to disconnect the fuel line from this point, which I'm going to see what that takes here. I'm going to need 2 hands, so I'll be right back. So I pulled the line. I actually only needed 1 hand. It slides right out, and there's a washer and an O-ring already right there. And I'm gonna try to take a look in there with a flashlight and see if I can see if there's maybe the other O-ring in there, so I don't stack them or double up. But there you have it. There's the factory line. It's off. That is not actually the O-ring I'm referring to that goes out. It's a piece that's embedded in there. So, but let me get to looking and see just how this is supposed to go back together. Alright, there's nothing else in there, and it's actually everything that was in there came off with the line. This package, as you can see, it's got the washer and the O-ring bracket and replacement bolt with some blue Loctite already on it. The replacement line comes with these nice little protective caps, so I'm going to remove the white cap and put the washer and O-ring back, the replacement ones, the new ones, on in sequence, fit the line back in, put the bracket back on, and then connect the fuel line to the fuel pump. Shoot. You know, I'm always worried when I make it sound so easy, because usually it doesn't end up being that way, but what could go wrong? All right, so I propped up the tank to give myself a little bit more room, and you know, rookie move, I put the washer and O-ring on the fuel line, the new fuel line, and then tried to fit that all in there. And I was having a hell of a time, and I realized that I should drop the O-ring in to the fitting that's on the motorcycle first, which I did, and then of course the fuel line just slid right in. I tried to use this replacement bracket, and it didn't seem to want to mesh up, so I figured I'd give the factory one a shot, and it went right on. So I'm using the factory one, but I did use their hardware and all the other washer and O-ring as well. So brand new, this fuel line's a little stiff, so you got to kind of maneuver it and fight with it a little bit to get it in there. But essentially what you do is when you go to put this in there, you just pull the slide back and push the fuel fitting in, make sure it's snug, drop the slide back down. 2 hands, it's going to make it easier on you. So let's do that, and then lower the tank back down, put some fuel in it, and test it. Alright, everything's buttoned back up. I've got the tank back down and coil, relocation bracket, zip back on, plug wires back on, and there it is. So I've added gas to the tank, and I think we should just turn the key and let the fuel pump cycle and see what happens. All right, here we go. So far, so good. All right, I think that settles it. You know what? Let's just do one more for good measure. Okay. All right. So there you have it. Hope that was helpful. I'm glad it worked out. When I went to fit the male end of the fuel fitting back on, it was a little snug. The stiffness of the line made it difficult to really get it squared up perfectly, but you just work at it a little bit, and you know, you don't necessarily have to hold the slide on the tank end to get the line in. Once you get it started, you can force it in and it'll snap closed. So and that's ultimately what happened. So, and it worked out, so that's all good. Yeah, so I'm gonna fire this thing up and go put some more gas in it and enjoy it. So I hope you guys do the same. Get on those bikes, enjoy this weather, depending upon where you're at. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. High today is like 74 or 73, something like that, and it's sunny and gorgeous. So I hope most of you are at least enjoying some nice weather. And if you do, just ride safe out there.